I'm going to tell you a story that some of you may know quite well. It's about a little boy whose name is Emmanuel. Born of a virgin, it was a miraculous birth, prophesied by Isaiah that a Messiah will come who will take away the sins of the earth. See, he came from heaven, and that's where many want to be, but some think they can get there by being a good person and doing good deeds. But how good is good though, and who are you comparing yourself to? Yeah, you might be better than him, her, and probably me. But at the end of the day, our conscience will always tell us that we can be better. Just ask Arsene Wenger or Arteta. See, you could play beautiful football, that's phenomenal, but still fall short of the glory and not win the league like Arsenal. See, God's standard is 100% perfection, but we already failed that test from the moment of our conception. And so as a result, we've got a penalty to pay, but we're so broken and lost that we can't even find our way to the spot to take that kick. So we got to forfeit and face the consequence of our sin, which is death, eternal separation from him. But before the final whistle blew, Christ stepped in as our perfect substitute. He came onto the pitch to take that kick, and he does not miss at all, because seeking saving sinners' souls has always been his goal. See, God sent his sinless son to come and save us, to give us a clean sheet and to shoot through that wall of sin that separated us from him by nailing every single sin upon that cross, bar none. See, this is the same little baby boy from Bethlehem, all grown up, hanging on that cross, where he bled and died for you and I. And he cried out before he died, my God, why have you forsaken me? Now, if you listen carefully, you would have noticed that he did not use the word Father. Why? Because in that one moment in time in all of history, he experienced separation from the Father, the first person of the Trinity. See, the Father turned his back on his own Son. He couldn't bear to look at him because of all of the sin that was placed on him. But that was our sin. Yet how easily do we forget this, that the same sins that he died for are the same sins that we commit on a daily basis. But we try to play God like a chess game. We try to cover up our moves because there are some dudes who want to play with their bishop in the middle of the night whilst they're looking at porn. But they got a queen at home, but the king is watching, but most are mature, so you can't call that a rookie mistake. See, we try to switch places with the king. That's a castle move, just so we can get a thrill and a dance out of it. That's a Carlton move. But the prince is on the cross, and he's dying for all of us. And he died for all of our lust and pride, all of those drunken nights, every time we lost our temper and we abused our wives. And he even died for all of those times when you called in sick, but you were perfectly fine. But we call that a lie that's white. But since when did lies have a color? When he was pouring out blood that was red like wine. So he was drinking the cup of God's wrath, and it was not nice. All of God's wrath and hatred for sin was poured out on him. Ultimate pain, separation from the Father. And in his final breath, he cried out, "It is finished." And then he died. The darkest night in all of history, the Son of God was crucified. But then something peculiar started happening. The ground began to shake, and the veil got ripped in two. And the people at the scene must have been looking and quite confused. Nevertheless, they still took his body down and placed it in the tomb. And a couple of days later, some of his friends went to visit that tomb, expecting that they'll be seeing him there resting in peace. But Jesus told death to R.I.P. That's rest in pieces, because my man stepped out of the tomb. And that's exactly what he said he would do in his word, which is sharper than Gillette razor blades. But it weren't even a close shave when he defeated the grave. Nah. He won. Flawless victory. Sub-zero, because hell's fire couldn't cope with the one. Neo. See, he brought us from the fire and into the light, sort of like Leo. And I know this may sound corny, but Jesus is my hero. Yo, but I don't care though. Because who do you know has been in the tomb for 3 days and then rose up again like some helium balloons? Nobody. Why? Because in his tomb there was no body. See, death can't reign because the sun has risen, like we're in the Caribbean. And I know I'm not Usain, but I will still pull up my hand in worship and signal the playing like I'm part of the Jamaican team. Hey, because he broke my chains and he set me free. And whom the Son sets free, oh, it's free indeed. And I know my voice may not be angelic like Mariah, but I will still rap and sing with fire. Now my debt is paid. It is paid in full by the precious blood that my Jesus spilled. And now because our debt is paid, we can bank on him to be building a society nationwide where sin can't win. HSBC, he slayed, battered, conquered sin. Now I've got the Spirit within. No longer need to be living in sin. And even when I slip, there's no condemnation because I'm forgiven in him. And so now we have hope, joy, peace, and freedom. Why? Because Christ is risen. Amen.
Make some